This video continues work on artwork that will be featured in the book I'm working on in order to publish. The Phyrexian Wyvern is a creature I made up several years ago that is based on the anatomy of large pterosaurs and dragons, so it's more of a pterosaur anatomied dragon creature. It has wings but no separate front arms. My old design is quite good, so I decided just to redo it for this book and to work everything out. I created 3 different stat blocks, which I've now finalized, that will be in the book. There will be a young fledgling version, medium sized. There will be a large sized adult and a huge sized elder, getting more powerful as it goes up. I like to give it a fair few abilities and strategies so that the dungeon master who is running this creature in their games has more options and things noted. A fire-breathing, fire-immune creature, they do have a weakness to cold, unlike many of the creatures in 5e, and they can be tamed as a very sought-after and useful mount. They require careful training as they are an unaligned, very bestial creature, even though they're smarter than the average animal. They can be easily tricked in certain situations and are very useful in a few other ways. They are a dangerous and powerful foe that can be quite aggressive and territorial. In general, they're more of an animalistic dragon, as I said, unaligned and more of a natural top predator type creature in their environment. The book will also have notes about how its skin can be used to make a certain kind of armor if you do defeat one in combat, and there are also notes a little bit about its behavior and ecology. It's the kind of monster that's pretty good to throw in a lot of different environments, and in general it's an aerial fighter that prefers not to land unless it feels trapped or forced to do so. Which is also why I decided I had to do a second artwork, which will be shown later in this video, of the same creature but flying. I wanted to show the anatomy and make it clear what it looked like both on the ground and flying. Here I realized I forgot the top of the far wing for the color version, so moving forward I had to fill in the line art and then the flats and everything else about it. I still need to do a print test to make sure this prints okay. The file is saved as CMYK, and I save it with a clear background as well, so that later I can reformat it and put it into a book on my laptop, although the initial painting was done in Procreate on my iPad. I am a little concerned that some of the special adjustment layers and highlights I did here will not print well CMYK, so after I do a test printing I can decide if I'm going to adjust the artwork or not. It's important that I keep these things in separate layers and save it so that I can easily readjust things for the final book. The information, after all, is actually more important in the book than the artwork, but I do want to complement this information with some strong and clear visuals. And here this one is completed. Now I'm working on the flying pose. I'm doing things on a rough sketch layer and adjusting things as needed, trying to get the anatomy accurate by looking at the VizRef version of the completed other view. I also am drawing the main body in curves without the added scales, even though there'd be a bit more width there, because I'm working on the shapes underneath. I'm adjusting things to the correct angles and remembering that things are supposed to be more simplified because this one is meant to be shrunk and put further into the distance. I work on techniques for using layers so it's easier to erase other details in the background as I move forward with the completion of this. I make sure to have enough details but not too many. I import the other Phyrexian picture I'd completed in order to color pick and make sure I'm color matching more perfectly, but keeping in mind that this artwork is intended to be shrunk down and put behind the main one. I end up deciding that I don't want things to be too much in shadow, but I also don't want things to be too highlighted or bold. I'm trying to keep things not quite as contrasted as the nearer picture because this one's supposed to be farther away, but I'm trying to get it to look pleasant and enjoyable. Here I show more of a final experiment for how it should look in the book. And now I'm working on the Moosian Drake, a type of dragon that is available in my upcoming book. I'm working on a mid-tone gray for more than one reason. One reason is so I can see the darks and lights more their true tone, not distracted by a very white background or a very dark background, and another reason is because I find it easier on my eyes when I'm working on a digital screen, though I don't seem to have the same trouble when I work with traditional media. Another option when working digitally, if you intend for a white background, if you don't want to use a different colored background like this, is to lower the screen brightness. At this point, I intend for there to be 2 stat blocks available in the book for this Drake. A lesser dragon, I'm going to have a young version and a regular adult version. The young version, you can choose whether it's a small or medium size when you're playing it as the Game Master. It's advised that if you go with a lower hit point version, you go with the small size version and imply it's an even younger one. And if you go with the medium size, you probably should go with more hit points. This represents the size and age of the creature, though it's always intended to be a younger member of the species. This Drake has resistance to lightning and thunder, and several immunities to different conditions, which make it very interesting. It also has the ability to attack with multiple parts of its body, bite, wings, claws, and it has a nice lightning breath weapon. It has a few other defensive abilities. There's other lore and information about this creature, which is also sought after as a mount. They're quite good at flying and are very acrobatic. They are able to handle rough winds and stay in flight in conditions that a lot of other creatures that aren't using magical hovering flight are unable to hack. This beautiful Drake would be a fine mount for any player character that is looking for an interesting companion or mount, although it's up to the Game Master if this will be available. If you would do something like that, it probably should be an adventure, a quest, or something that has to be earned in game, not something simply granted. One interesting thing about these Drakes is that they very much enjoy cooked and humanoid food, though each individual has different taste buds. Some prefer more meat, but they often tend to really like food that has been prepared by humanoids. Some have a sweet tooth and like candy or fruits. Others really enjoy bread, while others enjoy cooked meats that has been spiced. But each individual does have its own taste buds. They tend to be greedy like dragons in general, however, and will often ask for a lot of pay in exchange for things, but often can be reasoned with. They would make a good companion, and if a dungeon master is willing, they certainly could also be an option for a player character to play. They could earn class levels if the dungeon master thinks that would be allowed. Once again, that's all for this video. If you like my videos, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to all notifications so you will know when a new video comes up. I aim for new videos every Wednesday, but sometimes life happens and things are delayed. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you with another one very soon.